in your life, do you?
Not at all.
Why aren't you free? What prevents you from being free?
Me?
First of all, give me a hand for the honesty.
With this statement, Warren has taken an important step. When someone discovers that they have been paralyzed by a double bind, it is typical to feel anger and resentment at the person who set the double bind. However, the truth is that no one forced Warren into a double bind. He chose his own reactions and must take responsibility for his choices. Therefore, Robbins will not emphasize Karen's role in the double bind, but Warren's ability to overcome his sense of paralysis and loss.
Basically, again, not having the guts to just do what I want to do or say what I want to say, and then it builds up and strangles them.
And he said, not having the guts to do what you want to do or say what you want to say, and then it comes up and strangles you. And why don't you have the guts? What's the consequence you're trying to avoid losing? What are you trying to avoid losing by being gutless?
Karen.
That's right. Now, what if I told you that that very gutless is what's causing you to lose her?
I'd believe it.
What if I told you that you'd be better off taking her and doing whatever is necessary or letting go once and for all than playing this middle-of-the-world, weak-ass, toast piece of shit life where you don't feel like a man? Would you agree or disagree with that statement?
Definitely. Agree.
The only way out of a double bind is to take a strong position while disobeying both of the contradictory injunctions. In this case, Warren must refuse to acknowledge any resemblance to Karen's ex-husband. He must refuse to continue to walk on eggshells, and he must assume the identity of the strong man that he is. He must take the risk of becoming strong for his own sake, independently of Karen's injunctions.
You really didn't do this because you don't want to lose love.
I think that is part of it, though.
What is part of it?
I've always had a problem of not feeling loved enough, and I think that is part of it.
Did you know that that's true for everybody?
No, but
I got to tell you, I deal with people from 80 countries. I've been with 3 million people, every culture in the world. I don't think I've met anybody that really gets that at the fullest level. In fact, most people have total fear about it. Now, some people in the moment may be like on track, right? But if you look at their history before and between and after, it's there. And I don't care how much money they've made or how much respect they have or how many PhDs or how many children they've raised. Most people, that's still a core fear. And the reason is because you're human. Because human beings are born in unconditional love. But that doesn't last forever, even from your own mom or your own dad. It's a short burst, and then we want to go back to that for the rest of our lives. So we try to find a partner that we could possibly have that with. And out of your love for her, you've been trying to adapt yourself in a way that would hopefully cause her to love you more and simultaneously to not hurt her because you feared your own masculinity. Because in an earlier stage of life, you used that in only a physical form, which is the thing she would fear most. Yeah. And yet she was attracted to you because you're masculine.
Yeah.
Weren't you more masculine when you met her?
Definitely.
What were you like? Tell me what you were like then.
A smart ass.
Give me an example. Like, how did you, tell me examples of how you were being a smart ass in those days.
Well, we actually met, we were both working at Movie World doing characters, and my characters were smart asses, and that was me.
That was you.
Saying what I wanted when I wanted to.
So you used to be yourself. You didn't worry so much then, did you?
No.
And she was attracted to that. Karen, what were you attracted to this man when you met him? What made you attracted to him?
He was very caring, very loving, very sincere, a genuine person inside, and that's what I loved. Plus, he was a strong person.
He was what?
He was strong.
How did you know he was strong?
He was really strong about what he wanted to do. He was playing sport. He already knew what he was about.
For the first time, Karen expresses that she was attracted to Warren for 2 reasons. He was caring and sensitive, and he was strong. She has been asking him to be gentle, and she has not been satisfied. Now for the first time, she asks him to be strong as well.
So he knew who he was, he knew what he was about, he knew where he was going.
Yeah.
He was like a train on a track and there was a definite destination. Mm-hmm. And how attractive was that to you on a 0 to 10?
Oh, 10.
10.
Yeah, I wanted that.
Did you want to make love to him?
Yeah.
Yes. Did you enjoy making love to him?
Yes.
When you guys were making love, did you feel like he was taking you in the beginning? I don't mean taking you without love, but I mean taking you...
Yes, to a degree, yes.
To a degree. Did you like it?
Yes.
You liked the idea that it was taken to that degree?
Yes.
Did you want more?
Yes.
Yes. You want him to go even further?
Yes.
Yes. Look at that smile. So, did you tell him that?
Don't know. No, obviously
No.
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 In fact, did you tell him something else? Did you tell him, you didn't tell him you wanted him to go further, and you really did, right? I mean, like...
Oh, no, I didn't say that, no.
No, you didn't tell him. No. Because what would that mean if you would have told him? What would he have done back then?
I guess, well, I was so scared of losing him then that I was trying to fit into his...
So you were so scared of losing him that you began to adapt who you were to something you're not.
Yeah.
To fit into his what? You thought he wanted somebody who was...
If I was more attractive, more sexy, more... I talked more, I was more out there.
Yes. So what'd you do?
I tried to be like that.
So you try to be more talkative. How did you try to be more sexy? What makes somebody sexy is that they're enjoying themselves and they're connected to you. So if you wanted more and that would have lit you up more, I'm sure he would have provided the gusto. Is that true?
Hope so.
In those days, would he have said, hope so? What would he have said back then to that same question?
Yeah, he would have, but I was never game to say it.
Yes. Why weren't you game to say it? What were you afraid of? If you wanted it and you wanted more and you told him, what would that mean?
I guess I was actually afraid of him not wanting to, so I didn't say
You're
it.
afraid he didn't want to go further. I see. So she picked a man who she thought was extremely masculine, who would take her, and he took her to an extent, and she enjoyed it, and she wanted more, but she didn't want to tell him that because she was afraid maybe he wouldn't want to do that because he's obviously such a good-hearted guy. Ladies, good-hearted guys still want it.
Karen was conflicted because she was both attracted to and afraid of Warren's masculine intensity. So she gave Warren conflicting messages. Be intense, but then I'm afraid of you. And be nice, but then I'm not attracted to you.
So you put on this mask of trying to be good enough and projecting, and you also, though, let him know that you were scared of him when he got intense. So you actually gave him the opposite signal. When did you tell him, what about him scared you? You said it scared you.
Well, obviously I told him about my first marriage.
Yes. Can you bring that microphone up a little?
Oh, sorry. And he told me about his past, and I think at some point I told him I didn't know how I would handle it if that ever occurred. I didn't, because of what had happened. I just didn't know how I'd handle it. I wasn't saying I didn't want it to happen. I was saying I didn't know how I would handle it. I think I was trying to prepare him for that.
Preparing him for the fact you wouldn't know how to handle it.
That I'd probably freak out.
You'd freak out. But the truth is you wanted it.
Okay. Probably did, yes.
Yeah, so you wanted it, but you told him you didn't. Because you knew it would freak you out. You'd be out of control, which is what you've been wanting forever.
Robbins and Karen are talking about her fear and her desire for something. Let's call it an it. It's not clear whether either of them knows what the it is that they are talking about. What is clear is that this fear and desire led Karen to the double-binding injunction that paralyzed Warren. Let's replay the conversation about the it.
He told me about his past, and I think at some point I told him I didn't know how I would handle it if that ever occurred. I didn't, because of what had happened. I just didn't know how I'd handle it. I wasn't saying I didn't want it to happen. I was saying I didn't know how I would handle it. I think I was trying to prepare him for that.
Preparing him for the fact you wouldn't know how to handle it.
But I'd probably freak out.
You freak out. But the truth is you wanted it.
Okay. Probably did, yes.
Yeah, so you wanted it, but you told him you didn't. Because you knew it would freak you out. You'd be out of control, which is what you've been wanting forever. You wanted to be totally out of control. But you're afraid of what you want. And the reason you don't feel like you're enough is because you never let yourself be enough. Because you never let yourself totally out of control. So you keep the whole thing channeled in this little controlled little spot, which isn't really used. Of course, you'll never feel enough when you're not being yourself.
No.
So what would you be like if you were standing here right now and we saw the real you, instead of this little, cute, koopy doll, sweet, protected? I mean, you're a bitch, aren't you?
Yes.
Yeah. Could you show us what a bitch looks like when you're really being that way? Do you know what I'm talking about?
Yes.
Could you show us an example of a crazy bitch? Just say something the way you say it when you're being a crazy bitch.
At the beginning of the day, Karen had presented herself as a powerless person when in reality, she had been dictating the terms of the relationship. By asking her to be a bitch, Robbins is asking her to acknowledge her power. Now he will proceed to ask Warren to acknowledge his power. When they are both conscious of their power and their freedom, passion can become possible for them again.
And I'd like you to stand right here and be the way you were before you met her. And I want you to react the way you did before you met her when you weren't scared about, oh my God, will she be hurt or afraid of you or whatever the case may be. I want you to remember. Can you remember what you used to be like?
Yeah, I think so.
Okay, this think so bullshit. Okay? I want you to do it like if I challenged you. Okay? If I challenged you in those days, you might be scared, but you know my balls are closer to your feet than anything else. If in that position it was there, you wouldn't be I think so, would you? No. So I need you to be yourself, the real you, not the guy that you've not been around for a long time. Okay? So what would you have to do to be you? You need to move like you wouldn't back then. How would you move back then? It wasn't a head and think so, hopefully, maybe I got a pussy instead of a cock kind of person. Okay? So you knew where your balls were at that time, am I correct?
That's right. Yeah.
Okay. And you didn't have anybody have to point them out for you, did you?
No.
No. And you were a smart ass, weren't you?
Definitely.
Yes. So say something smart ass back to me when I call you a dickless pussy.
That's...
What if I said...
I suppose you'd know you're not looking in the mirror now, though, are you?
What are you saying to me?
I said you're not looking in the mirror now, so...
You liked saying that, didn't you?
Yeah.
Your wife.
You what?
Your wife. For lunch.
So, yeah, I'm just trying to...
He's faded. I was burning sleeps.
What did you do?
Nice dating him. Seconds like I was
Your wife.
When?
Yesterday.
Going up to her tactics, letting it slip. Words on his lips, about to do something drastic. Don't blink, think back. Think that there was a time to bring a go into the clinker, playing games with your mind. But the ride's over. You're old older and over your shoulder. All you had, the life, the white love's gone, it's all bad. You wanna blow out,
Bullshit.
going down hard, face it.
What you say?
Bullshit.
What you say?
Bullshit.
What the fuck did you say?
Bullshit.
Begin to break out,
Right.
down on the walls you're within. So rise up to the battle inside, get up.
What's happening here? Throughout the conversation, Robbins has provoked Warren to take a strong position. However, Warren has taken a passive role, agreeing with Robbins' insults and avoiding confrontation. By pretending to insult Warren's wife, Robbins is saying something that Warren cannot passively agree with, and this forces Warren to stand on his own feet. As soon as Warren takes a strong position, Robbins reinforces him with a smiling approval. What follows is a spontaneous chain of events unplanned by Robbins. Let's see that again.
What did you do?
To your wife.
When?
Yesterday.
Think back, think that there was a time to bring a going to the clinker, playing games with your mind. But the ride's over, you're older and over your shoulder. All you had, the life, the white love's gone, it's all bad. You wanna blow out, going down hard, face it.
What you say?
Bullshit.
What you say?
Bullshit.
What the fuck did you say?
Bullshit.
Begin to break out,
Right.
down on the walls you're within. So rise up to the battle inside, get up, stand up, or you never live it down. Rise up to reality, bound to see you fall. You rise up above it and grab onto the pole. So rise up to the battle inside and get up, stand up, or you never live it down. Rise up to reality, bound to see you fall.
That's
You
it.
rise up above
Feel it in your
and grab
body.
onto the pole.
Feel it in your fucking body. Feel it in your body. You feel it in your body.
When I used to be king,
That's it. Feel it. Take the chair. Pick this chair up and crush it. Pick that chair up and crush it. Pick this chair up and crush it. And crush it.
Back to the feeling, the deal of the century, and all that stuff.
Crush the
Was it something turning nothing, just the hit that I needed?
Crush the
Illegal and
thing.
deep in America, you see